Hey, listen, stop overthinking mixing, alright? If you've tried everything possible to make your mixes sound radio ready and super professional, and after everything it still sucks, then this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to show you the smart way of achieving a pro quality radio ready track. This will show you how to sound professional without understanding how to mix. But a quick disclaimer, I'm not here encouraging neglecting the fundamentals. Understanding how to use these beautiful tools like the compressors, the EQs, and the rest of it, which is super important. Why? So that you don't end up becoming a producer that cannot defend his or her craft. That would be embarrassing, right? So I encourage you to make out time to learn the fundamentals. But while you're on that journey, you can use this reverse engineer style of producing to start rendering services, because with this method I'm about to show you, you can actually produce someone's track that can be aired and even uploaded on Spotify. Sounds interesting, right? So, my name is Coinx and you're welcome to Coinx the Producer. Alright, let's get into it. So this video is grouped into 3 categories. The first category will be about the beats section, where you make the beats. The second category will be the vocal recording, everything you need to know. And the final category will be about mastering, alright? Alright, now the very first thing to do is to get a reference track. And why do we need this reference track? Since we are using the reverse engineering style, it is important to get a reference track. We love how it sounded, the overall output quality, because that determines how our own track will come out. I go for the big artists because their songs, always sound high end, and I make sure the source where I'm getting this track from is clean. Make sure you're not getting it from a source where they overcompress or use an EQ to enhance or beef the quality. So once you've decided the reference track you want to go for and you've gotten it ready, in my case I'm using Davido's track. So once that is done, as you can see on the screen, I have 2 plugins, and interestingly these 2 plugins are 100% free. The UVR5, which we are going to be using to stem separate the instrumentals, the drums, the vocals, and the other plugin, which is Drum Clone, which we will now use to extract one-shot samples from the reference track. Alright, and here is the reference track I'll be using. I'll just play a little section to avoid copyright.
See me fall, but they stop it and do they follow.
Alright, the next thing I'll be doing is to stem separate it, mainly focusing on the drums, because over here, let me quickly show you guys, I've already done this. Right here you can see I have already pulled out this thing, but to show you guys I will repeat it. So the first thing I will do is to open up this plugin, which is UVR5 Ultimate Vocal Remover, and how it works is you come over to the select inputs, click on that and go to the folder where the track you want to stem separate is. In my case is this one, labeled Davido. Click it open, then select outputs. So you choose a folder where you will dump the whole extractions. So I'll select that. Then to set it up, I tried many of these models, but I think Demucs worked well for me because it gave me opportunity to choose what I want. So since I'm focusing on the drums for now, I select drums. I want the output format to be in wave. Then for the model, I only have this V4, so I just selected it and I left every other thing the way it is. Then I click on start processing. So once it's done, you will get a folder like this, and inside the folder you will see the extracted files. As you can see, when I was testing other models, I tried instrumentals alone, vocals alone, and the rest of it. Then at the end of the day, I used this Demucs, which worked very well, and I was able to extract the drums, only these drums. So let me bring it in here. So let's quickly preview that. All right, and once I got the drums, the main process now starts. So the next thing I did was to come to the master out on the mixer and load up Edison. And the reason for loading up Edison is just to capture the section to keep things simple. So let me quickly find where I would want to capture. All right, that section, so it's already capturing. So let me delete this and redo that. All right, so after capturing this, I will just save it as a sample. Maybe I'll just drop it on the desktop. I will just say drums with Z, save, so that I can now have it on the desktop. Then I'll call up the plugin drum clone. All right, so the next thing to do here is select an audio file, head over to desktop where I saved it, drums with Z, open. And now the reason why I just recorded a little portion out of it is when you load the entire instrumentals here, sometimes you struggle with knowing where you are and picking the right sample. So as you can see, I'm trying to pick the kick. I mean, you can hear that it's pretty clean, but there is something I love doing with it, which is to make sure that this sensitivity, I pull it up, all the way up. And I set it to the point where I'm seeing the wave form or wave shape of the section I want to sample. And why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I noticed that when the sensitivity is on this straight line, it eats so much from the sample you want to extract. All right. Now, the next thing is to adjust this recover, which is the one on green. To set it to the area you are comfortable with. So at this point, I'm okay. To make things much better, I can zoom in and properly align things. At this point, I am very comfortable. So all I need to do now is to drag it from here to the sequence panel here, or like I did, open up the folder, just drag it from here into the folder where you are creating the sample packs. All right, your one-shot sample packs. So as you can see, we have this drum. I will rename it, call it Davido kick 001. Okay, let me just move it to where others are. Just paste it here. I already have other kick extracted. So once we are done, and one good thing about FL Studio, you can easily go to the location, refresh, and we have the extracted kick 001. So that is not all. There are more things we need to do to this extracted sample to keep it as clean and tight as possible without affecting the quality. So now we've gotten our samples, and the process I just showed you is exactly how you get the shakers, the conga, and every other thing existing here. Now, one more thing I need to show you is when you insert an EQ, let me quickly put this EQ here. When you insert this EQ and play these drums, extracted drums. So what we're trying to do here is to maintain that curve that we are seeing here. So let's preview this. All right, so looking at this graph, you can see what is happening. You can see the mixing and mastering engineer, they have a roll-off around this frequency, which is normal. If you analyze professional tracks, you always see this roll-off, and you see that at the low end here, there is also a roll-off. So this is exactly what we are trying to retain. And right at the middle here, you can see there is a huge scoop, which is obviously the space for the vocals. Once we've now gotten all this information, we'll load up our own sample. All right, now we have our sample loaded. The next thing I'll be doing is to start programming my drums. All right. Now, what's the advantage with this concept? The advantage is you don't need to stress about mixing your track. You don't need to stress about whether your production will convert on other systems. If it is going to play so well on mobile phone, smaller radio, headset, and the rest of it, it will, because this is a well-known track that has been publicly played and enjoyed by millions of people. All right, so you're actually using the already processed sample of that record to recreate your own track. All right, so by so doing, reducing stress and things to worry about. So let me quickly just create something simple for the kick. Let's go to And one other thing I need to pay attention to is to create more headroom during mastering. It is important to bring down the whole sample you've extracted to -6 dB. All right, normally I was supposed to do this even before extracted, but it's okay. All I can do now is to use this meter to now balance it on the mixer section here. All right, and monitor it till it hits around -6 dB, like around here, 6 dB, and I'm okay, so that you have enough headroom, like I said, during the mastering stage. And as you can see, the space for the vocal are gradually carving itself out, and then I don't need to worry about the low end. It has been taken care of. You can see the high is maintaining that roll off around 16K or thereabouts. This emptiness is due to many other things are not playing. Maybe towards the end of the production, I will fill it in to occupy those frequencies. All right. So for the drums, this is exactly how to reverse engineer and use that concept to create a brand new track. All right. Alright, as you can see, it sounds super clean, ready to go. This is the type of quality. Before I can achieve this, my CPU will be crying because I don't have the best of laptops. I'm actually using my backup system right now, but with this approach, you can see it will save you a lot of CPU load. So now, before we call it a wrap for today's episode, there is one more thing I need to talk about. As you can see on the master bus, I have auto key. I'm using this to check and analyze the reference track to see the key. And from here you can see it states A major, which is also F sharp minor, right? The reason for this is because I'll be using this information to tune all the percussive instruments like the kick, snare, all these drums you're hearing. I need to manipulate the tone to sit on this A major, all right? But that is if the beat I'll create will be on this key. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I will leave it on this key or I'll use a different key so that I will show you how to tune your drums to sit on the key of the project you're working on. So, and lastly, I added an EQ, which I use this as more like a guard. Remember the overall frequency graph from the reference track we played where you saw a roll off here and a little roll off at the lower section here. So what I just did is to guard it just in case when I start adding new elements, vocals or some new things to spice up the whole project so that nothing crosses this particular frequency, all right? Because sometimes we get carried away with a whole lot of things going on in our mind as to improve the project we are working on. So this is more like a guard, and it will be here permanently, all right? Also remember that we are still treating creating drums under the beats category, right? So the next episode will be bringing in chord, melodies, etc. This is the most interesting part of this approach. I'm going to show you how you can get the exact instrument in your reference track and use it as a VST and play whatever you want on a different key, and it will still sound high quality. And here is the best part: it will maintain the mix quality, meaning it will retain the reverb used on that reference track, any type of processing, be it compression, distortion, whatever they did on that mix that made it work, this instrument will maintain it, so you don't need to stress yourself mixing. Remember, one short sample came from the reference track, which is the same source, and with this other approach for the keys, it will sync, and at the end of the day, your project will sound as if it was mixed and mastered by professional. All right, so it's really going to be interesting, trust me. It could be pad, it could be flute, guitar, bass, name it. I mean, there is a lot to unpack in this episode, so make sure to stay tuned so you don't miss out. If you're coming across my channel for the very first time and you are interested with this topic I'm discussing, make sure to subscribe, and most importantly, turn on your bell notification so that the next upload, which will be the continuation of this episode, you get notified. And please make this video get to many other people who might need it by leaving a like and your comments. As always, stay creative, stay focused, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye for now.